Thanks for joining us again here on IRONPROS, where we're joined by David Hernandez, Managing Director for North America for Elecosoft. How's your day going, sir?
Doing great. How about yours, Charles?
Fantastic, particularly since we get to have this conversation. I mean, I've met you guys at events and everything. We've talked before, but what we're really here to do is take people to school through like a little, 10-minute long primer. Is it
Okay.
primer or primer? Do you have a thought about that?
I would say primer, but I'm
Okay.
from Texas and we talk funny down here. So,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've heard it both ways in Wisconsin, but out of deference to you, sir, for a 10-minute primer
okay.
on Elecosoft construction project planning is a very hot category here on Iron Pros. We're going to find out a little bit more about what you guys do. And to begin with, why don't you just kind of give me like the quick elevator speech on Asta Power Project and Elecosoft?
Sure. So it's ASTA Power Project. At our
Well, this
core,
is a primer. Cut me some
yeah,
slack, man.
I like messing with you. So at our core, I want to make sure we never lose where we came from. So in our DNA, we started as a construction company. So my elevator pitch is, we understand the construction industry struggles with a lot of things, right? Resource management, for planning, you know, budget overruns. I mean, there's so many different things. So at Elecosoft, we've helped construction companies not just here in the U.S. but across the world for the last 40 years by providing innovative solutions to help them identify, improve, and correct, these exact challenges. That's through CPM solutions, business intelligence, and some other things as well.
Yeah, yeah. So in this kind of category, when folks are in construction thinking about project planning, they might be thinking about a few different types of projects, like what we used to call project portfolio management, or something like like Microsoft Project P6. How does Elecosoft kind of go deeper into construction than those guys? Because I mean, they're across all industries, and construction's kind of different, right?
Correct. And so just think about what I just shared with you about where our DNA comes from, right? We were a construction company, so we understand the industry. So the although the tool can be used in a lot of different industries, construction is where it was built for. So our tagline is built by construction, for construction, by construction. So I think that is a pretty big differentiator from the beginning. When you look at Microsoft Project, it, yes, it's a planning tool, but it's not a true project management, construction management, scheduling tool. P6 the same way. It's not necessarily construction specific. So there are some things that we do within our software that are differentiators, especially in the construction space. But one of the things we pride ourselves on is the scalability of our product. So regardless of size, ease of use. So a lot of people talk about they like Microsoft projects because it's easy to use. So that lowers your learning curve. We try to hire industry experts, so adoption and implementation. We try to just make it very easy to do business with us and limit disruption. So I think that those are some pretty key differentiators when you talk about us versus competitors.
Yeah, yeah. And certainly that origin story is always powerful. That's why they've told the Spider-Man one how many times in
Yeah,
different movies? I've lost
right.
count. But still, it's a matter of, well, what are those superpowers that you have? When it comes to like construction, what are some things that you're able to do that, perhaps these other folks can't?
So talking tool specific, we all have Gantt charts, so that's probably pretty standard across. But there's pretty deep resource allocations, resource management tools, cost tracking, critical path analysis. One of the things I think that does separate us when there's problems on a job site with Ask the Power Project, you can quickly do some analysis to kind of find path to or path from tasks to kind of identify those problems.
That's cool.
Yeah, so those are some, there's bid management, document management, but I mean, it's a pretty vast product. And we deliver that out of the box. Like it's not modularized. You get the full tool out of the gate.
Yeah, yeah. Are there, certain features that you have that help people kind of look forward into the project as opposed to being reactive. Like intelligent planning or things that can help people really use that time at the beginning of the project to avoid surprises later.
Absolutely. So, there's things like progress tracking, and there's some other tools within the software, but Power Project is we now it's packaged in a solution with our product we call Vision. We sell it as a solution, so we don't get everybody confused on the different product name. Vision is kind of the house in which Power Project lives in. Vision allows customers to do customized workflows, because we know that construction is not cookie cutter, but also delivers. That's where your data and analytics and that can be delivered into a Power BI or any kind of business intelligence tool, because if you're an executive, you don't necessarily want to look at a 10,000 line schedule to kind of figure out where things are going. You just need high level. We know that everybody loves dashboards now. It's kind of the key, the buzzword. But not only that, we're looking at how can we, now with the world of AI, right? How can we get to the predictive analytics to where we take that data and have AI kind of start to talk to these project managers and planners and schedulers from a perspective based on their data, based on their historic trends. So there's some pretty cool stuff coming out in our late 23, early 24 roadmap.
Okay. Well, as some of that stuff hits, we'll make sure to have a refresh conversation so we can give people chapter and verse. But right now, when you look at the market and the spectrum of different contractors that are out there in terms of disciplines or sizes, what types of contractors, based on their size, the size of their projects, what they're self-performing, who is really an excellent fit for the product?
So everybody's an excellent fit. So, but
Yeah.
I want to, right? We want to sell everybody. Everybody always goes after the ENR 400 companies, right? They're the big guys. But I think there's a sector of the market that a lot of times gets overlooked, or sometimes maybe doesn't get the attention that and that's that mid-market, those mid-market commercial general contractors that are trying to do a little bit more complex products. They're trying to get into the BIM and 4D world. Our product allows these smaller companies to start to take on more complex products without a lot of additional overhead and costs. So there's there's other sectors that we're trying to get into as well, which is energy, around renewable. That's a big industry. Civil engineering, I think, is a great market for us.
Yeah.
We have some heavy highway contractors as well. So it's a pretty vast group, but our sweet spot is that commercial general contractor, regardless of size. Because I said our product's scalable, whether you're doing one project or 100 projects.
Now, does the value proposition change a little bit for like a general versus a contractor that's really self-performing stuff, as opposed to managing that portfolio of subs and vendors?
No, because at the core, it's a scheduling tool. So if you're managing a large amount of resources, crews, work at all, it's a valuable tool for you. There might be some functionality in that's probably going to be more beneficial to a general contractor around the costs and that kind of things, because you're managing more to the owner. But as a trade contractor, especially complex trade, like MEP type contractors that sometimes act as a prime, absolutely, it's a good fit for them as well.
Yeah. So what else do you think that folks should know about this solution as they begin to evaluate what's on the market and then try to make a decision about who they're going to sit down and talk with in earnest?
So I want to kind of give a second to kind of, the tool itself, right? I love the tool, but I think that there's a lot of value behind the team that's here in the U.S. We pride ourselves, like I said, on bringing in industry experts. There's a lot of tech out there that's being thrown around, and I think it's important that we understand our industry. And so if we're selling to the construction industry, I've got a construction background. I said I love the industry. I understand it. Obviously, it's changing. I try to stay. I don't wear the hard hat anymore. But most of our innovation is coming from our customer base, because that's our customer success team, our sales team. They're constantly engaging with our customer base to ask, how's everything going? What do you need? So I think our team is pretty phenomenal. And the thing that the value that brings is change. Our biggest competitor realistically is to do nothing, right? If construction companies a lot of times will evaluate something and then say it's going to be too complicated to do this, so we're just not going to do it right now. We'll put on a pause. So what I challenge my team is our job is to limit disruption, make it very easy for them to buy from us, make sure that they understand they're getting a partner, make sure that we are delivering a project plan to them, right? We're not just telling them, we're showing them, from start of the conversation till launch, and even after launch, here's what your customer success process, because they're used to working on schedules. So right,
Yeah.
we're selling a schedule, we should give them a schedule. So I think that's a piece that I'm not saying that other companies don't do that, but I think we do that very well. And I always talk to some of our other customers. We are a big company, but I said we're big enough to deliver, but small enough to pivot. And I think that's also pretty valuable when you look at some of the competitors out there. They're just large corporations. I had a call earlier with a customer that I was able to get the CEO of the company on the line with. There's not a whole lot of companies that the CEO comes to a sales call. So
Yeah, that's always a selling point for that company that isn't the 800-pound gorilla with many tentacles out there. So Asta Power Project, construction specific planning tool with smart people. Does that about sum it up?
really smart people and a boss who moves things out of their way. I don't know if I want to be put in the smart category with everybody else, but my job is just to remove roadblocks. No,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Well,
that
that
sums it up
sounds
pretty
smart
good.
enough to me. So if you like hearing from smart people who are at the forefront of the technology that's coming into the construction sector right now, keep on coming back here to IronPros, scoot on over and surf around on Elecosoft's profile here on IronPros, and you'll be a little bit smarter when you're done. Talk soon, sir.
Thanks, Charles.